All right, now we're live here at the Titan Postgame Show, here live from the Acme Rooftop, presented as well by Spirited Hive and Ranch Water with game day specials for both Spirited Hive and Ranch Water here at Acme Feed and Seed on the rooftop, the stadium right behind us in Nissan Stadium. The Titans lose for the first time there all season, 31-28, the final score. The Colts win in overtime, a come-from-behind victory there. When the Titans had plenty of opportunities to get this win under their belt, to get to 5-7. Instead, the Colts win. The Titans now 4-8, and the Colts are 7-5 on the season. And this one can all about do it for the Titans season. But we'll react to all of it here in our post-game show presented by our friends at the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I'm Austin Stanley, along with Jack Gentry. No relations to Amanda J. But Jack Gentry here watching the game from Acme. I've got a lot to break into here, Jack, but first tell the people what they have to do. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Yeah, tough loss. I know everybody's got an opinion about what went wrong today. So if you're watching on Facebook, I remind you to share the show. Share it to your Titans Facebook groups. I know all of you are a part of them. I know there's been plenty of chatter in those groups throughout the day. So go ahead and share that on Facebook. If you're watching on YouTube, tap the bell icon at the top of your screen. Turn those notifications on so you get an update every time A to Z Sports goes live or posts any Titans content. You do not want to miss out on a second of it. Finally, if you're watching via Twitch, text that Twitch link to your Titans text groups, text it to your family members, text it to your loved ones. We'll get everyone in here. We'll grow the conversation, grow the audience. We want to hear from you guys throughout the show. So be active in the chat. We'll get to as many of you as we can. But Austin, let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports Titan Game Day Live, the post-game show presented by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. I do want to thank all the rest of our game day partners this season. X Golf Nashville, the home of indoor golf in Middle Tennessee, the Mint Gaming Hall, BetMGM, Chim Chimney for your chimney needs, Adventure Science Center, explore and discover with your full family, and Jarrett HVAC and Plumbing. We've got a lot to get to here live from Acme. If you're coming over from Nissan Stadium, Spirited Hive and Ranch Water specials every home game this season. I see a lot of comments in all caps in the chat. I see some fire Craig Ackerman, the special teams coach. There's so many things to discuss here, but I want to start with the Tennessee Titans had no business winning this game. All of the self-inflicted mistakes, the bad coaching and bad management of a game should have had them lose this game on special teams, offense, and defense. But I will give credit to the guys, the players out there for the Tennessee Titans that were able to overcome their coaches in some big spots. But Gardner Minshew hits Michael Pittman Jr. for a touchdown in overtime. And the final score, Jack, is 31-28. The Titans are 4-8. What are your thoughts?
The Titans lost this game. The Colts didn't win it. The Titans absolutely lost it. You tell me before the game the Colts are going to go 3 of 14 on third down. The Titans are going to outrush them 177 to 55 yards. And this is a 2-score win for the Tennessee Titans. And it would have been had Craig Ackerman's special teams had their stuff together. Back-to-back block punts is absolutely unacceptable. It's a fireable offense in the NFL. And really, the Titans special teams haven't been any good since he's been in charge. This is just a straw that broke the camel's back today. And it also costs you a win against your division rivals in the Colts, who just swept you for the first time since 2018. Anything that could go wrong seemed to go wrong for the Titans today. But then the offense or the defense would make a big play to pull them right back in it. It felt like the Titans had this thing won numerous times, and they couldn't close the door. It's a microcosm of the Titans season, Austin, and today was just like a bad trip. Right when you'd come up on a high, they'd bring you back down to ground level. The Titans haven't won back-to-back games all year.
Right.
They struggle against their division opponents. This is the first loss at Nissan, so now they've lost everywhere they've played.
Yeah,
it's just a disaster.
It's that's one word. We'll discuss our one words here later on. But go back on mine to give credit to the players out there, because in a game where you lose Jeffrey Simmons, you lose Derrick Henry, you lose Ryan Stonehouse, who looks like he might be out for quite some time. In a game where you lose your 3 players that are the only 3 players who could be considered for a Pro Bowl, all in the same game, the Tennessee Titans had players step up, make big plays, Tajay Spears made a ton of plays. Will Levis late, DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, Danico Autry, several guys made plays, yet bad coaching is impossible to overcome when you don't have an elite football team. And this is what bad coaching looks like. Craig Aukerman, and I'll just be as blunt as I possibly can. I don't know what Craig Aukerman provides to this franchise. The Titans special teams has been awful for a long time. They've had a rotating door of kickers who can't make kicks. Then they just get Nick Folk from the Patriots. It's basically a gift. Craig Aukerman didn't make Nick Folk good at kicking field goals. He's been doing that for 15 plus years in the NFL. But Craig Aukerman now has 2 punts blocked in back-to-back opportunities, and he's already had punts blocked so far this season, but you don't fix that. And the second one got your punter nearly killed. I don't know what tore in Ryan Stonehouse's knee, but it might not just be one thing. And then he might be out for some time. And then what? Then you don't have a punter who is also your holder. And Jack, Nick Folk misses an extra point that would have won the Titans the game 26-25. But he missed the extra point because Ryan Tannehill's the holder. I saw Nick Folk punting into the net after Stonehouse's injury. I don't know if Ryan Tannehill took holds after that. And if he didn't, if Ryan Tannehill was not directed by somebody who is a coach by the Titans to take holding reps from Morgan Cox after Stonehouse's injury, that is coaching malpractice, because you lost the game because that operation went wrong.
Yeah.
And that's another bad feather, a stinky feather in Craig Aukerman's cap.
You know, they did pan to Ryan Tannehill taking those practice reps on the sideline
after you missed the game-winning extra point.
But at that point, it was too late. Now it was nice to see them hit the field goal in overtime. Who cares? You give up a big play like you've been doing all season. Sean Murphy Bunting gets called for a holding penalty and then gets burnt deep by Alec Pierce, a Titans killer in his young career. And here we are sitting at 4-8. The season's over. You've pulled the plug on the year. And now you look on the coaching staff at what changes need to be made. Aukerman is an obvious decision, in my opinion, to get rid of him. I tweeted on Twitter, it's time for him to start looking for a 9 to 5. I don't know who's going to pick him up after back-to-back block kicks, but we'll wait for the offseason to have that conversation. The Titans did enough on offense to win this game. We talked about getting to 20 and 20 being the magic number. The Titans offense got them there, helped out by a pick 2, I guess you call it, on the 2-point
by
conversion.
Amani Hooker, yeah.
But Derrick Henry softened that Colts defense, and Tajay Spears was like the warm butter knife cutting through the Colts defense like butter. It was working fantastically. And, it all goes for a waste because you can't close a game out. You can't make an extra point in the fourth quarter, and you can't get a stop on defense in overtime.
So many things went right for the Titans, but also so many things went wrong, and that's why they lost the game. I want to get to a couple super chats here, because it kind of goes along with what we were talking about the coaching. Amnesia on YouTube says, why was there no penalty against the Colts for the hit on the punter? Did I miss a rule change? No, there is no flag for roughing the punter if contact is made on the football. So if you block the punt, then you cannot be flagged for any contact made on the punter. Same goes for field goals as well. But on the second blocked punt, it was actually not ruled a blocked punt. It was technically a fumble, because here's the bad thing. The Tennessee Titans punt snap count is so predictable that the Colts blitzing player got there before Stonehouse made contact with the football himself. It was a tackle. It was basically a tackle for loss and a fumble by Ryan Stonehouse, because that's how predictable this punt snap count is.
Yeah, which is embarrassing. And for you not to be able to change that in the ensuing punt, following your block. 2 minutes later, maybe?
I mean,
that has to be addressed on the sideline. Mike Vrabel is definitely going to have a conversation with Aukerman, and Amy Adams Strunk might hear soon as well. So, heads will probably roll for those mistakes, but you can't do anything about it now because you just lost the game to the Colts in overtime, where, you really did a lot of things right. Now, you did a lot of stuff wrong too. But back to coaching, Austin, 9 penalties for 74 yards. The Titans tried to get a drive together to, at the end of regulation there. Jalen Duncan's holding penalty got in the way. I understand you're hamstrung at left tackle, no pun intended, but 9 penalties for 74 yards is not how you win in the NFL. You can't even win in college with 9 penalties for 74 yards. So the Titans have a lot to get ironed out. on a day where, the offense looked as good as it has all season outside of that Falcons game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. More super chats have come in here, so I'll go ahead and get to that. I already did the amnesia one, but the Kick It to the King has a couple. This game, Gavels on the coaching staff fired them. Kick It to the King comes back, says, I don't care about the picks anymore. Fire Mike Vrabel. Look, I don't think Mike Vrabel is going to be fired. I just think that's how much Amy Adams Strunk and her ownership group around her cares and thinks of Mike Vrabel. But Craig Aukerman has given his head on a platter to Mike Vrabel to say, here is the scapegoat for 2023.
Yes.
Todd Downing was the scapegoat for 2022. Here it is for 23 because you just got one of your best players killed in Ryan Stonehouse from failing to adapt and then losing the game in regulation because of the missed extra point. I already went deeper on that. And then Elks, who is Big Ten Jeff, going at me for what I said on Friday. Guess the Colts can't win 4 in a row, huh, Austin? Yeah, I mean, the results are in. The Colts have won 4 games in a row, and they're 7-5, and I believe they will be in the playoff picture after today's games wrap up. And look, the Colts won a game to get to 4 wins in a row off of 2 blocked punts, a blocked punt touchdown, and then the Titans missing an extra point because their holder was out because you blocked 2 punts in a row. So, yeah, some weird stuff happened. But, yes, the Colts have now won 4 in a row. And King VC says the Titans lost this game when they went 3 and out after the defense held the Colts at halftime. Yeah, there was a stat that I was keeping there, Jack, for quite a while, that the Titans were being outgained by the Colts roughly around 250 yards to about 20 yards during a stretch of time there. That was pretty embarrassing by the Two-Tone Blue.
Yeah, no doubt. But they did get it back on track. Everyone's, I've seen some people in the chat point at Tim Kelly. Titans had 381 yards of total offense today. It was special teams that let them down in the biggest way. And, the defense in overtime, which they're prone to do, giving up big plays. This time it wasn't Christian Fulton. It was Sean Murphy Bunting, who's been pretty solid when he's been in throughout the season. But obviously this is a black eye on his resume. And, just like Craig Aukerman handed his head on a plate to Mike Vrabel, the Titans handed this W to the Colts on a plate.
Yeah.
The Colts had no business winning this football game. The Titans were the better team for the majority of 60 minutes.
No doubt.
But it doesn't matter when you can't execute on special teams. You can be better on offense. You can be better on defense. But special teams can cost you a football game. And the example is what just happened about 20 minutes ago here behind us at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, A to Z Sports here live on this post-game show. The Titans do lose in overtime. Final score 31-28 in Nissan Stadium. The Colts. I did see somebody tweeted me this. I think James Bradford tweeted me the video of the Pittman catch from the end zone field angle. It definitely looked like he bobbled that ball. That ball was moving as he was being pushed out of bounds. So, look, the game's been over for 15 minutes now. There's no going back to look at it. So, but it did look like the ball moved quite a bit on that. But, Jack, let's go ahead and get to our first conversation of the game today in our post-game show. What is one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Colts? What is one word to describe the Titans' loss to the Colts here on Sunday to fall to 4-8 on the season? One word to get on this loss. And Jack will get to your comments on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. But first, I want to tell you all about who makes this post-game show happen, and that is the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. Wherever justice demands, Amanda J. and her team practice Tennessee family and criminal courts in 35 counties across all of Middle Tennessee. As a Middle Tennessee trial lawyer, and Amanda J. Gentry and her team, they really experts in fathers' rights and passionate about fathers' rights, protecting your fundamental and constitutional rights to be a father to your children and protecting your other constitutional rights as well. In Middle Tennessee, know your rights and protect your rights, and contact Amanda J. Gentry and her team at amandajgentry.com. So, Jack, one word here in this post-game show to see what the people are feeling.
Yeah, let's start here with Justin. I think this is a good answer. Gut-wrenching on Facebook. This was a gut-wrenching loss. Baffled from Biggie. Amateur from Matthew Hall. Predictable from Ed Rogers. Expected from AZ. Officiating from Ronnie. Junk from Stack. Future for Jason. Vrabel from Dime. Expected. We're seeing final, as chats keep rolling in, I keep losing my place.
Yeah.
Laughable from from again, Tank from Jared, Tannehill. These just keep rolling in and messing up my scroll here. But off season, Tank, demoralizing. We'll stop there because chat's. I just can't keep up with
Too fast. We've got a ton of people
Pissed
in this
from
chat.
Jack
Go ahead and like the show while you're here watching on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. So hit that thumbs up button for us. That would do a long way. I'll take over some one words to give your computer a break. Coaching, draft, play calling. I'm not even going to try to put them up on the screen because that's what's probably holding it off. Crushing, top 5, pain, trash, Vrabel, perplexing, Ackerman, deflating, Tank. I know you saw those. But man, a lot of disgusting, a lot of words here coming in from Titans fans on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Quintessential, officiating, and special teams, which is 2 words there. But Jack, I'll toss it to you. What's your one word to describe the Titans' loss?
Taffer. What's Taffer? John Taffer,
Oh.
Bar Rescue. Shut it down. It's time for the Titans to shut it down. That is not a functional football team over there. You can blame whoever you want, but week in and week out, we see the same flaws popping up. Nothing's done to correct it with the coaching staff. When you have a good day on offense, your special teams let you down. You can't do two things in a row that are positive, and it's just the same old Titans we've seen since week 1 of this season. You can't put 4 solid quarters together. Even after a great first half, the Titans offense laid an egg going into the locker room and struggled getting out of it. In the fourth quarter, the Titans had a chance to win this football game.
Sure.
But the Titans special teams shut it down. They didn't give their offense a chance to win. The extra point goes awry. I mean, to me, it shut it down. This bar needs rescuing. And the Titans, not this bar, Acme. Acme's fantastic.
Yeah, Acme's fantastic. The NFL rescue. Ron Lyman on Facebook says, LOL, NFL rescue. Yes, NFL rescue. Somebody saved the Tennessee Titans. And here's the thing, too, because I want to get to another super chat. Stanley Wilson on YouTube says, how many women do you know? I don't know, being a woman has to do with it, but how many do you know, like Miss Amy, who likes to lose? She'll turn this thing around, change some coaches and some culture. Look, I don't know what's going to change, but for all the people that don't think Mike Vrabel is untouchable in this conversation, needs to look at what happened in coaching decisions and the coaching mismanagement. My one word is mismanagement, because the Tennessee Titans coaching staff mismanaged this entire game. They had control of it. Derrick Henry ran for 89 yards in the first half. Now, he got hurt. He's in concussion protocol, and he was out of the game after getting to 102. But you had everything going the way that you wanted to. You were running the football. Play action pass was working. Chunk plays on offense. Stopping the Colts on defense. That's a one big touchdown early, forcing some field goals. But you let it slip away because you mismanaged the entire second half. And we've seen this. It's easy to mismanage a game when you have lesser players. We know that. But these players the Titans have could not overcome the coaching here. And
they did a hell of a job to try.
I see Ty says Vrabel is too secure. Maybe. I don't know. But
here's the thing, though. You know, Amy Adams-Strunk doesn't like getting embarrassed. I think everybody knows that. And after what happened in Philadelphia last year, where John Robinson was fired immediately following the game, I think that anything's on the table. We can't forget that Amy is Bud Adams' daughter. You know, what happens when you lose to the Texans? Yeah, well, there's a chance you might not be back. You lose to the Colts like this, followed up, you got 2 Texans games to finish the season. If you get embarrassed in both of those games, I think there starts to become a dialogue, if there isn't already. Losing today in that fashion is absolutely on the coaching staff. Will Levis, Tajay Spears, the offense did everything they could to keep them in the game. The defense, sure, they got called for untimely penalties, but for the most part, they did their job. They created a turnover inside the 10-yard line. They bent, but they didn't break on a handful of occasions. It's the coaching staff that just was so poor in today's effort. There's really no overcoming it, like you said.
So I see this. Our Sam Phelan from A to Z Sports is at Nissan Stadium in the press conference right now. Mike Vrabel, this is from Sam. Mike Vrabel takes the fall for his special teams coordinator after a disastrous day. Quote, "It's all on me." Well, if that's all on Mike Vrabel, then Craig Ackerman has no purpose, right? Like, I get it. A leader is going to take responsibility for the mistakes of the people that he's supposed to be leading. But at some point, you have to call a spade, and the Titans special teams are terrible, and they lost the game. And Mike Vrabel's a part of that. So if Mike Vrabel's going to take the fall for it, to go back to Ty's comment, is Mike Vrabel too secure that he feels like he can take the fall for Craig Aukerman in a game that the special teams lost, and he can take that fall because he's safe? I don't know. I think Craig Aukerman doesn't talk to the media until Thursday, and by that time, Titans will be like, oh, we've moved on. We're focused on Miami and all that. They won't look backwards, but they need to speak for their mistakes. How do you have back-to-back block punts in a game in the NFL? Has that happened? Like, I don't remember seeing back-to-back block punts happen in the NFL. I don't remember seeing that happen in college football.
High school level.
It's high school stuff. Absolutely. Like, back-to-back block punts is high school stuff.
You bring up the coordinator thing, and here's the deal. If the Titans end up firing Craig Aukerman, which I believe is highly likely.
But it's not going to happen in the season.
No,
because
it'll
Mike
be after.
Vrabel says he doesn't fire coaches in the season.
But that will be two coordinators that you have parted with in the last 2 years. And those guys didn't go get promoted they're not head coaching anywhere like Arthur Smith and Mike LaFleur are now. You're going to run out of guys to fire, and then eventually there's nowhere else to point the finger but at yourself. Mike Vrabel is responsible for the failure on special teams because he put Craig Aukerman in charge, and he kept him in charge after some pretty lean years in that department. So Mike Vrabel absolutely deserves some blame for this loss.
Let's see. Zachary says Aukerman owes Stonehouse an apology and his coaching check this Christmas. The thing with Ryan Stonehouse is so unfortunate because that looked about as ugly as it could have looked. And I saw some others mention, if you can't get called for roughing the punter, then how does that happen where he got there so early? Basically, it's a sack. That's how it's a tackle for loss. It's a sack. Stonehouse caught the snap and was hit and tackled before he had a chance to punt the football. So there's no roughing that can be called there. He's a free game player that you can't rough him while he's in or after the kicking progress.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Stonehouse, as sad as it is, has been one of the best players on this Titans team. And Aukerman put him in harm's way today.
Yeah.
He put him in harm's way. He didn't protect him the way he should have. And, when you have a weapon like Stonehouse, and I mean, Nick Folk did fine coming in, punting for the first time in his 16-year career. But when you lose a guy like Stonehouse, you lose the field position battle. And it didn't really come into play today for the Titans. But just moving forward, your defense is going to have its hands full because now you don't have the field position god on your side.
Yeah.
It's a big loss for the Titans, not only today, but moving forward.
All right. So Kick It to the King says you blame the staff who picked them, Vrabel.
Exactly.
For sure. And I've been very vocal. I don't think Mike Vrabel should be safe in air quotes with his job security at this point. I think this team, you add 7 to 8. Now they've won. They're 4-15 in the last 19 games. I mean, and it's
hard to be a fan.
It's games like this that you're like, everything went exactly how you wanted it to. You ran, how many yards did the Titans run for today? 177. And that includes minus 11 for Ryan Stonehouse. So that's how it's rolled, as a minus 11 run for Stonehouse. Your offense goes for 190 yards on a day and you lose because you mismanaged that second half of that game. Another super chat coming through here. Sightseeing says, week after week, make the same defense. Week after week makes the same undisciplined penalties and blown coverages. Offense is god awful with a lead. Why are they so afraid to be aggressive? Jack, do you want to take that?
First of all, they haven't really been playing with leads very often, so that's something that Will Levis.
Unfamiliar territory.
Yes, but it's good experience to have a lead for a slight lead in today's game that you eventually blew. But the deep shots, it felt like they dialed them up. They just weren't there. I understand you want to hit on a few of those, and if you even hit on one of those, this game totally flips. But I don't know. I want to see more of that too. I felt like the training wheels. We talked about the training wheels being on Will Levis for so many starts. I feel like they've kind of been taken off now. It feels like he has full reign to do whatever he wants. And we saw him run a little bit today. We saw him take shots down the field. They didn't hit. I don't know. I don't know that it was the aggressiveness that cost the Titans today. You put up 28 points at the end of the day.
Yeah, but you got 2 of those from Amani Hooker.
You want to convert at the end of regulation, and you want to score a touchdown and not settle for a field goal in overtime.
Yes.
Those 2 drives you can absolutely pick apart.
So I'm trying to do the math. What is it? 21 offensive. I guess 20. It would be 23 offensive points I don't know. Math is hard. But the offense should have scored enough. But again, like you give the Colts a block punt touchdown, and then after the next block punt, they go right in there and are able to kick a field goal after the second fumble. So they got 10 points off of your special teams right there overall. All right, let's talk more about Will Levis, Jack. How do you grade Will Levis's performance in the Titans' loss today to the Colts? How do you grade Will Levis's performance today in the loss to the Colts? His numbers, 16 of 33 passing, so just under 50% completion, 224 yards, 1 touchdown pass. He was sacked 6 times today. So how do you grade Will Levis here in his performance against the Indianapolis Colts in this loss? But first, I want to tell everybody about, hey, who did I have come check out my brand new chimney and fireplace at my new house on Friday? Chim Chimney. Chim Chimney is who you should turn to for all of your chimney needs. They do the job right the first time. They're honest, dependable, and affordable, and locally owned and operated. So you get to save money right there when you need to have your chimney and fireplace inspected. It's December. It might not feel like it outside, but it's fireplace season, and make sure you get it swept, inspected, checked out for all the different things that could go wrong with your chimney and fireplace. Chim Chimney's a place to go, and I trusted them on Friday at my new home. Chim-chimneyinc.com is where to go. Chim-chimneyinc.com. All right, Jack, I'll let you go to the chat. Grading Will Levis, 224 yards to the air, 1 touchdown, no picks, 6 sacks. He did fumble once, but he then recovered it. I ran the ball twice for 5 yards. What are the grades coming in here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch?
Yeah, Jacob on YouTube starts off with a B. Raya agrees. B- from T. Shannon. Chris Parker says an F. Chris Parker needs to be thrown out of the classroom. David Lawrence says B. A- from Ronnie. B- from Lane. Toby says C. Jason on Facebook's with an A-. King JP's at a B-. B+ from Kevin Davis. C+ from Demetrius. C+ from Billy. Eric's at a B. Davies at a C+. It's kind of all over the place today, Austin. A- from Mitchell. B- from Mertcan. C+. D. We lost. B- from Brad. Kendrell's at a C. B+ from Ben. I'll stop here at Xander.
What do you think is the average from the chat?
I think the average is probably a B.
A B?
Yeah, I think a B is probably the average. There's some C-. There's some A-. In my opinion, Austin, this was a B. I think I'm going to go B- actually.
Yeah.
I'm going B-.
I think B is way too high.
He didn't do enough to win the football game. You know, he missed on some throws. He didn't have a lot of time to throw on a bunch of those occasions where he kind of skipped it into his receiver. But, you know, I just don't think he gave his receivers much of a shot deep.
I agree.
I think if he had done that and maybe thrown a ball inbounds to D-Hop, and look, D-Hop didn't help him out on a drop. Chig dropped the ball, but that's Titans football this year. You got to expect that stuff. So I'm at a B-.
So I say C+, and there was a couple points that I'm like, why? And it's not giving his receivers a chance down the field to make a play because he's throwing the football out of bounds.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's a overcorrection for him because the coaches are wanting him to focus so much on protecting the football. But at some point, how many times can we, all of us, watch Titans opponents take advantage of pass interference penalties on the Titans defense by throwing the football down the field, underthrowing it, and allowing a receiver to go up and fight for it to draw a penalty, and the Titans simply won't do it.
The play that sticks out to me is that 3rd and 24, where they could have easily ran the ball and gotten out, but D-Hop was sent on a go route.
Sailed it. Yep.
Levis threw it like 3 or 4 yards out of bounds, and you see D-Hop, the camera's on D-Hop as he walks back to the sideline.
And he's
pissed. He wants a chance. He's a one-on-one guy. He's won that battle more times than he's lost it in his career. I wanted to see Levis put that in play and give your best playmaker a shot to make a play down the field and help you win the football game.
Yeah.
That didn't happen today.
It's such a weird box score because the Titans, to my count, let's see, how many plays did the Titans have? I mean, obviously overtime happened, and so they had a lot of plays, but total, the Titans had 81 snaps on offense. It wasn't that long ago. The Titans had 48 or 38 in a game. I think it was 38 against Jacksonville. And they were able to get 81 snaps today. Now, a lot of them were in overtime. To be exact, it looks like the overtime drive consisted of 10 plays, so still 71 snaps in regulation for this offense should be enough for you to put yourself in a position to win, and they were. Well, like in reality, Will Levis led a potential game-winning touchdown drive, and then the hold was botched, I think, with Tannehill in for Stonehouse, and the Titans are go to overtime because they missed the extra point. So I will adjust. I said C+. I'm going to go up to B- because if Ryan Stonehouse was holding that extra point, the Titans are up 26-25.
Yeah, and back to your point on how many plays the Titans ran today, they controlled the clock. The Titans had 38 and a half minutes of possession compared to just 29 minutes for the Colts. They had the ball 9 more minutes than Indianapolis did and still lost this football game while you were doing more on offense with the ball. And, there was a just about 10-minute drive the Colts had where the defense was able to hold them to 3. I thought that was the most impressive part of the defense's game today. There's just so many things you can pick apart. The turnover battles, 2-2, a couple fumbles didn't go your way. The ball bounced the wrong way for the Titans, but look, you make your own luck. I'm a big believer in that you make your own luck. The Titans didn't put themselves in a position to get lucky today. They put the Colts in a position to win the game late, and that's exactly what they did. Good teams and teams that are capable of making a playoff push, like Indianapolis is, will beat you if you give them extra opportunity.
Yeah, A to Z Sports here live on this post-game show presented by the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, live from the Acme Feed and Seed rooftop. Game day specials with Spirited Hive and Ranch Water for everybody here at Acme post-game. I do think the crowd was phenomenal today. So for the fans that were at Nissan Stadium, up here at the rooftop at Acme, you can hear the cheers. You can hear the reactions to what's going on. I thought the fans were very strong. So normally we go back and we revisit our X factors from our pregame show and see how that turned out here in the postgame. But I do want to ask a different type of question,
Okay.
and I'll put it on a scale. Big deal, small deal, or no deal? How much of an X factor were the officials today in some bad calls and missed calls? Big deal, small deal, no deal on that. But first, we tell you guys about X Golf Nashville. They are Middle Tennessee's place to go and destination for indoor golf. xgolfnashville.com is where to see all of what they have right there in West Nashville. And it's perfect place for you to go watch all the bowls this season around the holidays. Maybe you got some time off to go out there and get a bay at X Golf Nashville. It's always 75 and sunny at X Golf. They've got great bar set up, great TVs for the bowl games this football season, and also for the holiday season, corporate and business parties, gift cards for the stocking stuffers, xgolfnashville.com. So, Jack, I asked the question, the refs' impact on the game today, how much of an X factor did they have? Big deal, small deal, or no deal?
We'll go to the chat. Major Keys starts us off with small deal. Eric, in all caps. It's an all caps loss, Austin. Says huge deal. Big deal from Raya. Brian says big deal from Big Time. David agrees. Clayton says small deal. Sight says big deal. Brandon, huge deal. No deal from Eric Alonzo. Small deal from Kendrell. Yannick says big deal, as does Andy and Cassie. Elizabeth George says small deal. Austin, I'm going to go with Liz George. I think this is a small deal.
Okay.
I think that the refs were just, a side dish to the entree that the Titans fed the Colts on a big plate with a W on it. Like, the officials did play a part in this game. I thought the holding call late against Jalen Duncan was iffy.
Yep.
The taunting penalty was absolutely questionable. But this game wasn't decided by the refs. Craig Ackerman and the special teams decided this football game, and that's when the Colts took over. The refs certainly played a part, but the Titans haven't been a disciplined football team all season.
Yeah, they've been penalized a ton.
We've seen them have multiple games with too many penalties, too many penalty yards, in the worst situations imaginable. The refs played a small part in this loss. The Titans handed the Colts this win today.
I mean, I agree. I think it's also a small deal. I don't think it's a big deal, but I look at three things that really stand out the most to me, and they were calls that did not happen that should have. The offsides that was pretty clear on the Colts that did not get called. Will Levis, it looked like, thought he had a free play. I think he either took a sack for a minuscule loss in that situation. And then there were two very, very clear holds on DeAndre Hopkins in the first half.
True.
One of them would have created a 1st and goal at the 1. The other would have given the Titans a 1st down and 10 when they were going to punt after a 3rd down incompletion. So those, and the hold in the end zone on D-Hop that was not called could have been the difference in 4 points, which is clearly the difference in the game today. And I think still on the other hold, it's not hard to see holds. And DeAndre Hopkins is a guy that deserves the benefit of the doubt of a receiver with that stature who is continuously hitting milestones. He's got 12,000 yards receiving, 900 catches in his career. He's got over 75 touchdown catches in his career now, and he's not getting those calls that a lot of receivers do get throughout the entire NFL. So small deal for the refs, but they did play a factor in some spots.
Yeah, but I'm not out here upset with the referees because the Titans lost this football game. The Titans did that themselves. The refs were just they weren't great. They were not good officials today. But that wasn't the reason why the Titans lost.
Right, for sure. A to Z Sports here live. It looks like we've got some spam in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and disrupt that real quick. So live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at Acme Feed and Seed on the rooftop. Jack, I got some super chats I want to get to here. Roger says, of course, Ryan Tannehill doesn't give a damn.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. And he says Derrick Henry could have held the damn ball. So I don't think Ryan Tannehill should get a lot of heat from Titans fans for the situation he was put in.
I mean, if Nick Folk has a bad punt, are you saying, oh, well, that's Nick Folk's fault?
No,
it's Ackerman's fault for putting Stonehouse in harm's way. Same with Tannehill. Like, Stonehouse can't be there to hold. You got to find somebody to do it. Tannehill's just the guy that probably held in college, and that's the guy who comes in and holds. It's not his fault. He's being thrust into a role he's unfamiliar with and also never practices.
Yeah, and so Matt Ryan said on the broadcast, he's like, I maybe got 10 holding reps in like a decade plus in my career. And so Teron Davenport just tweeted this out. Nick Folk, speaking with the media, says Nick Folk said he and got some reps in with Ryan Tannehill in practice and attributed a slight change in the operation that affected the missed extra point. So here's my problem. It's not Ryan Tannehill's fault that they mismanaged the extra point that could have won the game. It's the coaching staff's fault for not getting Ryan Tannehill reps holding on the sideline during that offensive possession before the touchdown was scored. Because you know the game situation. You're down 6. You need a touchdown. You're not going to settle for a field goal. You need a touchdown and an extra point to take the lead. Your punter is now injured in the locker room with a cart. You should have gotten Ryan Tannehill. You're the holder, right? When we score a touchdown here, you're the holder. So you get with Nick Folk and Morgan Cox and you work that thing. So you go out there and make the extra point to take the lead. Did that happen? If that didn't happen, that's a massive problem from Mike Vrabel all the way down. And from what it sounds like, and I don't know this for sure, but Nick Folk told Teron Davenport that they worked on it in practice and made an adjustment after the missed extra point.
And I'll say this about the Tannehill hold. It didn't even look that bad. I felt like he got the laces to the side. They weren't totally out. But, I mean, does it have to be a perfect hold to make an extra point? I don't know. I understand the operation was a little funky.
It's the worst miss that Folks had all season, right?
True. Yeah.
The absolute worst.
Folks should still make that kick, in my opinion.
I agree.
You don't need a perfect hold every time to make your extra point.
And so Wrights is on YouTube saying, Austin on the broadcast, I thought they said he was getting reps before the extra point. I don't know that. I did not see it. I know we saw Nick Folk working on punting into the net before that extra point was there. And then Roger says he agrees with us now. So we flipped Roger from saying that Ryan Tannehill doesn't even care to now he agrees with us. So that's a good thing. Good development there for Roger. Appreciate the super chat here. All right, Jack, let's get to the winning formula that the Titans follow here for a win in the NFL game. There are 3 things that Mike Vrabel says are how you win NFL games. How many of those did the Titans check today? But first, I'll tell you guys about Adventure Science Center. You can explore and discover at Adventure Science Center for all ages. Check them out at adventuresci.org. That's adventuresci.org. You can do all types of things at the Adventure Science Center where they've been around for generations. I know people my generation and above have gone to Adventure Science Center for field trips as kids, now taking their kids. It's the holidays. Gift ideas are great. How about get your kid or yourselves or your family a membership to Adventure Science Center this holiday season? Will be a great thing for the whole family to enjoy all year long. The gift that keeps on giving, Jack, is a membership to the Adventure Science Center, adventuresci.org. So remember, I'll list off the winning formula. You tell me if the Titans won this or not. Rushing yards. Who runs for the most yards typically has a better chance to win. How'd that go?
Titans had they probably had over 3 times the amount of yards the Colts did on the ground.
Okay.
They tripled them up.
So rushing yards, I'm looking at it right now. If I can find it, 177 to 55. So yeah, over double, over triple. Yeah. You're right. Titans win that one.
Wow. Landslide.
Quarterback rating. Who had the better quarterback rating today between Minshew and Levis?
I'd probably lean Minshew here.
Minshew had a 100.5 and Levis had an 80.9. Minshew, obviously, his game-winning touchdown at the end of overtime makes that the difference, right? If Levis had thrown a touchdown at the end, then that would have flipped right there on the overtime score that iced the game.
It felt like he was more dangerous with the ball in his hands than Levis was today in general.
For sure. So there's 1-1. The Colts and Titans split on those two. The last one is turnovers. Who wins the turnover battle wins the game. Technically, they're even at 2 turnovers apiece. But I don't feel like that's representative of how the turnovers were, because they each had a turnover that canceled each other out, right? Levis fumbled. The Colts fumbled it back. Levis gets it. So 1-1 outside of that. But the 2 blocked punts, only one of them ruled a fumble. The other one ruled as a defensive touchdown, as a block, not a turnover. So I will give the edge to the Colts.
My book, though.
I agree. I give the edge of the Colts. So the Colts get 2 of the 3 elements in the winning formula with our friends at Adventure Science Center.
And that really stinks, too, because that wipes away an excellent day on the ground. You held Zach Moss in check. Derrick Henry runs wild in the first half, and Tajay Spears does a great job in the fourth quarter taking over as the King was sidelined with what appeared to be a concussion. And it's all wiped away because you can't take care of the football. Really, you can't just get the punt off.
Yep.
You couldn't get a punt off, and that costs you the turnover battle, which in turn costs you the game. It's disappointing. It's just disappointing.
It's crazy to say what I'm about to say. If the Titans just punted the football 2 more times, they would have won this game probably pretty easily. If the Titans just punted 2 more times, they would have won this game because they got 2 blocked. If those would have not, and that's the difference. It's ridiculous. Craig Aukerman on Thursday, when the special teams coordinator talks to the media, he'll have a lot of questions that I don't know if he's going to answer, because the Titans could very easily say, we're on to Miami. It's Thursday. We're looking forward. But overall, pretty brutal there. So, Jack, let's look around the rest of the results in the AFC and see in the AFC, the NFL, to see where the Titans might be when it comes to the draft order and what could have been with the playoff standings. So the playoff standings would have been a very nice thing to see if the Titans could have pulled this thing out. But first, let me tell you guys about Jarrett Companies. And today I'll tell you about Jarrett HVAC and Plumbing. You need to know who you can trust when something goes wrong with your HVAC and your plumbing situations, because it could happen at any hour of the night with your home. It could happen at any season of the year with your plumbing or your HVAC. And Jarrett Plumbing and HVAC can take care of you. Full service HVAC and plumbing, from installation to repairs. Jarrett handles it all with skilled technicians with over decades of experience and low cost, because Jarrett is locally owned and operated and have a customer-centric approach. They're not satisfied until you, the customer, is satisfied. So find Jarrett at jarrettcompanies.com. So, Jack, looking around the whole NFL, I'm going to go to the Tankathon site. You're already there. So where are the Titans right now after dropping to 4-8?
Yeah, they started this week in the 10 slot.
Yep.
They have moved up or down, however you want to look at it.
Up the order?
They now are in 8th. So if the season ended today, they would be picking 8 overall, which would be a nice spot to find a left tackle.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking around the league, other games that'll probably be mattering to the Titans. Let's see. Most of them concluded. The Jets already played today. The Giants are 4-8. Tampa Bay's in action, so you'd like a Tampa Bay win if you're a Titans fan. Moving on down the list, Green Bay plays. You'll probably want them to win as well. The Rams to win. So a couple games in action to keep an eye on right now. But yeah, the Titans are currently slotted at 8th. So, and with the schedule the Titans have down the stretch, they've got a tough schedule. There's a lot of teams going to be probably in the playoffs. You've got the Texans twice, the Dolphins on Monday night. You got the Seahawks, and then you've got the Jags. So those are 4 teams that'll probably be in the playoff field. If I got that number right,
yeah.
4 teams.
So the bummer here is if the Titans win this game that they should have won, and we all know that, they'd be 5-7 and still just 2 games out of a wild card spot with a win over the Colts. So you would now even that out. You would be ahead of the Bengals, ahead of the Chargers. You've got wins over that are also 5-7 in this hypothetical. And then the Steelers, who lost today, that was a good thing for this hypothetical. And the Texans win, right? And you got 2 games. So everything was working out exactly how the Titans needed it to, except for a big play from Minshew to Alec Pierce, and the Titans lose in overtime. So a brutal way to end it. And the Titans are now looking at the draft order instead of the playoff standings because you're that close.
Man. And what a new spot this is for Titans fans, too. To be here this early, at least, right?
Yeah.
Only 12 games under your belt. You're already looking ahead to the draft order next season. It's a new spot for Titans fans, but it's one we have to embrace now. And you've got to really come to reality with the situation inside that Titans building and start making business decisions for the rest of this season. Now, I don't mean rest the starters, sit the starters and full-on tank, throw Malik Willis in there as a tank commander. I'm not suggesting that, but I am suggesting making some tweaks. You have nothing to lose anymore. You've lost it all. The season's over. You've pulled the plug. You're off the ventilator. Maybe
Dead.
It's experiment time, audition time.
Yeah.
We'll see how they handle it moving forward. But with this coaching staff, too, I mean, they've got to show some stuff to give Titans fans some hope heading into next season and give Amy Adams Strunk and Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon confidence to move into next year with these guys. There's still a lot to prove in a season that is lost.
So make sure you like the show if you're watching here on Facebook and YouTube. Hit that thumbs up button, even though the Titans are pissing you off today. Live here from Acme Feed and Seed on the Rooftop, Spirited Hive and Ranch Water specials. You get Ranch Water bucket specials, Spirited Hive, $1 off their canned cocktails, all home games here at Acme. Doing an end on some super chats. Noah says, had to catch the train, but was in town for the day. Tried to say hi, but ran out of time. So hi, guys. I didn't know. What train is Noah catching? Is Noah catching does the train still run to Watertown from downtown Nashville? I don't know, but Noah.
What's up, Noah?
Miss Noah today. Roger says, appreciate you guys giving us super chats. Roger says, as a Titans fan, I knew the Colts had a better roster. Roger also says, if the Titans lose this game, they out of the playoffs. Yeah, it's basically done. We just went through all the scenarios there. Titans playoff hopes all but over now after a 31-28 loss in overtime to Indianapolis. So, Eric, I'm sorry that my voice is frustrating you. I mean, probably the loss. Not
after the loss.
Eric watches us all the time. It's probably just that.
After the loss, everything is frustrating me off.
Right.
Everything.
Yes.
The way the sky looks is frustrating to me.
Yeah. Brandon, another super chat. Don't care. Don't tank. I don't want to watch my team lose after waiting all year. I mean, tanking sucks because you only get 17 games. You wait 8 months for Titans football just to want to lose. I know a lot of people are in Brandon's boat.
I'll put it this way, Brandon. You don't have to fully embrace the tank, but you have to accept the tank. If you don't want the Titans to tank out from here, then it's a win-win every Sunday, right? If you still want them to win, good. Support them. Hopefully they do win. But at the same time, if they lose, it's also good for the Titans. So
for Brandon and those in Brandon's boat, don't view it as tanking. Just evaluate the auditions that are going to happen in the last 5 games, right? Everybody's playing for a job. Evaluate that rather than the end of the score result. But look, that'll do it for us. So once again, shout out to our great friends, Spirited Hive and Ranch Water game day specials here at Acme Feed and Seed, all home game season long. Also, great shout out again to our partners for Titan Game Day Live, Adventure Science Center, Jarrett Fire, HVAC and Plumbing, Chim Chimney, BetMGM, the Mint Gaming Hall, X Golf Nashville, and the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry. Buck Rising live tonight for A to Z Sports Primetime around 8 o'clock during Sunday Night Football. I'll be live tomorrow morning on a Monday at 8. We'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Be safe. Talk soon.